Hello, how are you? It is good to see you today. Are you well? I hope so. So, this is our Chat on the Mat series, and today I'm going to talk to you about, is it the exercise or the sofa? And often we find ourselves in this dilemma, don't we? You get in from work and there's one part of your brain saying, oh, I should do some exercise, I should go to a class, I should go to the gym, I should go for a run, I should do this, I should do some exercise. But then there's another part of your brain that's like, oh yeah, but I've just had a really hard day. I'm just worn out and I just need to sit down with a glass of wine or whatever. I just got to sit down on the sofa. And you're not alone in feeling that. As human beings, we haven't evolved to exercise. That's not our natural instinct. We were born to move and move our bodies, but we haven't evolved to exercise, and there's a difference. And if you want to delve deeper into this, then take a look at my book, Enjoy Moving and Feel Fabulous, because I talk about this. We go into quite a bit more detail about this concept, so which I'm going to touch on a little bit with you today. Our natural instinct is to conserve energy, okay, because we don't know from our ancestry, when the next meal's coming from, when the next food's coming from, and so on. However, the problem with that is we're now living in a very different world, and our evolution, our instincts haven't caught up with how we're living now. We live where food is, for the majority of us, plentifully available, if that is even a word, and we spend a lot of time, many of us, in very sedentary lifestyles, whether that's at work or, at home. Our lives are actually quite easy in that respect, in that we have cars, we have labor saving devices, you put your washing in the washing machine, there's dishwashers, you don't, if you want to, or there's those opportunities available, obviously weren't available to our ancestors. They had to go and hunt for their food. They had to go and pick berries. And all the time they're doing this, they're moving. So it wasn't exercise, it was necessary, in order to survive. So as they're picking berries and searching around, they're reaching up, they're reaching down, they're turning, they're stretching, they're crouching down, they're doing all these different sorts of movements. If they were hunting, which was typically the men, but they'd be out walking and running, sprinting, they would be throwing, all these sorts of actions, which generally was part of their way of living, our ancestors' way of living. But today, not so much. We don't really do it. However, the instinct is still there for us to conserve our energy in case we don't know when the next meal is coming from. So, dilemma, because if our body and our instinct is saying to us, just sit on the sofa, just sit, conserve your energy, relax, rest. You've been putting in, perhaps mentally, we're perhaps more tired than physically. Perhaps we've been sat at a desk concentrating on a computer. Our eyes might feel tired from the screen. We've been fixed in a fixed position, so we haven't had that circulation going around, that fresh oxygen up to the brain. So we feel tired, we feel lethargic. It's getting to the end of the day. All of those things. Or maybe you've been on your feet all day. Now, you may have been on your feet. You may have had a job where you stand a lot of the time. And that's sort of another topic of conversation. However, you're still probably not moving that much in terms of different types of movements and moving your body. Therefore, you could argue that exercise actually now needs to become part of our natural way of living. Doing exercise, including, excuse me, got a croaky voice, including movement in everything you're doing, is actually needed in everyday life as part of your survival. So our ancestors had to move around in order to get food. They couldn't get in the car and go to the nearest supermarket. They couldn't make a phone call and get it delivered to them and do absolutely nothing other than walk and open the front door. They had to go out and find food. They had to move in order to survive. They may have needed to run away from predators and things like that as well. But in today's world, because we haven't got that natural movement in what we do, my perspective is, therefore, because we're sitting, we still need that movement because we're born to move. We still need that movement. Our body craves to move. It's healthier if it moves. And I'm not going to go into all of those benefits today on this session, but it's healthier if it moves. However, for some reason in our head, the word exercise, the word exercise has these connotations of a chore, something we have to do, something we should do. And that doesn't make us want to do it. The word exercise actually from the Latin comes from the Latin word. It means keep busy. And it's just about keeping busy. There were exercises that previously in history, which were used as a punishment. So when Victorians, were punished and they had to walk around on the treadmill and keep the treadmill going, that exercise was used as a punishment. Yet today we go to the gym and people run on a treadmill, slightly different sort of treadmill, granted, but they go and do it. But so there's this, it sort of doesn't line up, does it? Our body, our instinct is saying just sit and relax and, just chill, just save your energy. Our brains are sort of saying, well, I know I've been told it's better for my health if I exercise, but I really don't feel like doing it, because you see it as maybe a sort of punishment or something you don't enjoy. So I've got 3 things for you, which I hope will help you just have a different perspective on how you can exercise. So you can forget the word exercise. There's a number of my clients who say, actually, you know what? I say I'm not going to do any exercise today. Instead, I'm going to move my body. And as soon as you say that, it has a different connotation, a different meaning in your head, and it's easier. Exercise can seem like hard work, like I said, a chore. Whereas if you move your body, it's like, yeah, okay, I can do that. Everyone can do that. Everyone can move their body more. So that's one thing, is to get rid of the word exercise if that doesn't help you, and think of it in a positive way, moving your body. The second thing is to do something you enjoy. So move your body in a way that you enjoy, because then if you enjoy doing it, you're more likely going to want to do it. Okay. This morning I woke up, it's a bit grey here. It's like one of those nothingy days. There's no sun, but there's not really rain, but it's just a bit grey. And yeah, you get up, it's still a little bit dark in the morning, even though the clocks have gone forwards here. And you just think, it takes you a bit of while to get going. And I have a ballet class on a Wednesday morning that I go to. I love doing my ballet. I enjoy doing my ballet. And I have to drop the children off at school, and it's quite a drive to where I go. So I have to drive. And it takes a couple of hours out of my morning. I could easily talk myself out of doing that if I didn't enjoy it. So I could easily say, well, you don't need to go today. It'd be better just to come back and, do some work or do something else, or, even do some Pilates. I mean, I enjoy my Pilates as well. But do something else. Why have you got to take a couple of hours out of a busy day, busy schedule to go and do ballet? Well, it's because I enjoy it. So these 2 points so far is move your body. Don't say to yourself exercise. Say, I'm going to move my body today, and do it in a way that you enjoy, because then you'll want to do it. Yep, it's not a chore. It's not something you have to do. It's completely your choice. The third thing is to really incorporate more movement into your day in everything you do. And I have a download, which I'll put the link to below this video, of different ways you can incorporate movement into your day. But for example, whilst the kettle is boiling, stand, put your hands on the side of the worktop and stretch, or get the back moving, do like a cat-cow stretch on the side, or make a point of this is what I do, and you might laugh at this, but if I'm working downstairs, I always make a point of going upstairs to the toilet, or vice versa, so that I get in a few more steps and move my body more, rather than going to the toilet that's right near me. you can do movement like that. You can stretch, like when you put your socks on. Instead of sitting on the floor and crossing a leg over and putting it on, although that's a good movement, maybe try balancing on one leg, bringing the knee up, putting your sock on like that. Try, different way. If you're in the shower, you can do a little roll down. You can do a spine twist. If you're standing, waiting somewhere in a bus queue or in a queue for shopping, whatever, rise up and down on your toes, do a little few knee bends, some squats. All of these things add up. All of these things help. So before you know it, if you added all those little things up through the day, by the end of the day, you've sort of amalgamated and basically done like an hour's exercise, but it hasn't felt like an hour's exercise, hasn't felt like you've gone out and done a class and worked hard and you've struggled in your head about doing it. It doesn't feel like a chore. It just feels easy. It's easy, and you're just doing it in your day. And again, I've got a number of clients now who say, oh, I get my mat out of work and I do a cat cow and a snail and a spine twist. And other people say, yeah, I have my prickle ball under my desk and I'm doing, working my feet. Other people who I work with say, God, you're in my head all the time, Gila. And so every half an hour I have an alarm on my watch, whatever. I get up and I move and I walk around and I change position and I stretch and I bend down. All of these things all help. And so it's really seeing that exercise as not something hard, as not a chore, and it's not something where you have to go for a 5K run. You don't have to go to the gym for an hour and get hot and sweaty. If that's not what you enjoy doing, do something that you enjoy. And just build that movement into your day. Therefore, it's easy. And that is how you get over your instinct it's ingrained in all of us since millennia to conserve energy and to sit on the sofa and to have a glass of wine and delve into the biscuit tin or whatever. So in order to sort of combat our natural instincts that are fighting with us, to say do this, which don't fit with the modern world of how we live, then incorporate it into your everyday, make it easy, make it enjoyable, and just move. Tell yourself you're moving more rather than use the word exercise if that, has those negative connotations for you. So I hope that helps get you to just think about things in a little bit of a different way. I'll put the link below to my 33 different ways that you can incorporate Pilates into your everyday life, and also check out my book as well, because I talk far more about this concept, this sort of philosophy of exercise, and in our modern day world, and how it has changed from when our ancestors lived and moved in order to survive. We still need to move to survive now, but we need to move to survive in a different way, not to get food, in order just to maintain our health. So have a lovely day. I'll leave that all with you. Any comments, let me know. And I will be back with you shortly with Easter holidays here in the next couple of weeks. So I've got my children at home, so I'm not going to attempt to try and fit in a live. I just know it will end up not happening. I won't be able to commit to it, and I like to be able to commit to these things and tell you when I'm going to be here. So it will be in a few weeks' time. I will see you then. So take care, have a lovely rest of your week, and I will chat with you soon. See you later.